Wall Street Memes Casino,
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.
I'm good, Andrew. We got another big fight card to talk about, don't we?
I love it. I love it. I love when you break these cards down, Dan, because you don't mix your words, and it's always good to hear. Yeah, let's talk about it then. Terence Crawford moves up to 154 to face Israil Madrimov for the WB, and I think the WBO as well. World heavyweight titles, world super welterweight titles. I get ahead of myself. Yeah, just talk to me about that fight in itself before we go and talk about the whole card.
Well, like you said, it'll be for Madrimov's WBA 154-pound title. Also, will be for the interim WBO belt, which is, I guess, available because of the fact that Sebastian Fundora is going to be on the shelf for a while because of this situation that occurred when he won that belt from Tim Tszyu with the nose injury that's going to keep him out until at least November. So, they're making this so obviously the winner of that fight, Crawford or Madrimov, would end up having to fight a mandatory against Fundora, give them an option for another big time fight. But as far as that matchup goes, look, that's a good fight. I mean, Terence Crawford is looking to fight and win a title in a fourth weight class. He's been a champion in the lightweight division. He was undisputed at junior welterweight, undisputed at welterweight, still holds some of the belts in the welterweight division, but there was no big mega fight for him in that weight class. And so on to, new frontiers, I guess, right? To try to go, and as he was talking about, make a little more history. Go after the possibility of becoming the first ever undisputed 4-belt champion in 3 weight classes. So if he wins the fight against Madrimov, or if Madrimov does it, obviously he'll have the 1 belt or 1.5 belts, I guess, because he'll have the interim. But I suspect that Fundora may end up vacating one of the belts because of the fact that he's still obligated to a rematch against Tszyu, which would not allow him to fight by the end of December, which is when the WBO made their deadline for the Fundora to fight the winner of the interim title. So, that's politics, whatever. But the point here is that very well by the end of the year, Crawford could have 2 of the 4 belts on his way to potentially being undisputed in yet another weight class. But in terms of the matchup, it's a good fight. I mean, Madrimov, he may not have a huge glossy record. He's only got 10 wins, no losses, and a draw. So he's very green in terms of his professional career, but he was a top-notch amateur. I remember being at I can't remember if it was his professional debut or his second fight. They were already matching him with legitimate guys. They knew that this kid could move fairly quickly, like we've seen some of the other top amateurs that have come into boxing. They don't have to screw around with a whole bunch of 4-rounders and 6-rounders and that sort of thing. Fighters all develop at their own pace. They were okay to match him more aggressively at the beginning of his career, and he's shown that he can handle it because he's now won the WBA belt. He looked very good in knocking out Magomed Kurbanov. That was back, in one of the recent March cards that were in Saudi Arabia. And now he gets the opportunity of a lifetime to fight the pound for pound number 1. So Crawford, when I saw them face off with each other, they're about the same size. There didn't look to be any kind of massive size difference. But one thing about Madrimov, you can look at the record and say he hasn't really fought a lot of top guys. You watch him fight, the dude can fight. He's got good defense. He's got good skills. He's got good power. He's strong. He's got stamina. But Crawford's, at least going into the fight, you got to look at him. He's like a Hall of Fame, as they say, generational kind of talent. He's shown it in the ring.
You mentioned the size there when they did come face to face, but one thing that I noticed, because I've, like yourself, I've been in Bud's company, and I was recently in Madrimov's company there when he beat Kurbanov out in Saudi Arabia. And one thing I will say about Madrimov is he is massive when it comes to shoulders, bicep, back, legs. He is a unit. And so that will bring me on to this question then, Dan. Normally when we get these guys that are coming up through the weights, these pound for pound stars and stuff like that, they sometimes when they go up a weight too far, that's when they come unstuck. Is the 154-pound division, Madrimov, is that sort of weight opponent that maybe we can see Terence Crawford come unstuck? Or is this, again, a comfortable division where we're going to see Crawford just run right through it?
We don't know, I guess, till they fight in that weight class. I mean, but seeing what Crawford has done in his career, knowing the kind of condition he keeps himself in, it's not a guy that gets out of shape in any meaningful manner between fights. Always, close to the weight, seems to live the right lifestyle that's conducive to being at your best. So I don't think 154 is going to be where he finally meets his Waterloo, as they say. I think it may take maybe moving up even heavier in weight into the middleweight division. I mean, there was some conversation perhaps at some point he might have tangled with Canelo Alvarez in the super middleweight division. But I think at 154, look, it's not in any way is it a knock on Madrimov that Crawford would probably be the favorite against anybody in the 154-pound weight class right now. Whoever you would pick, Fundora, Kim Tszyu, Madrimov, Charlo, pick somebody, Boacek, pick a guy in that weight division, and Crawford probably would be the favorite. But it's an intriguing fight. It was an available title, and they're going to make a big show out of it. And I'm excited for it.
Well, you're excited for the show. They're going to make a big show out of it. Eddie Hearn basically came out and said that this is the best card to ever land in America.
Okay.
Dan?
Come on. Why do we have to say it's that level? We can just say it's a great card, which it is a great card. But to put it at that level, no disrespect to my man Eddie, but that's Eddie being the promoter. He should say that because he wants people to watch and entice people and pump them up. So with all due respect to everybody involved in what I think is a superb card, I would be less than honest if I said it's the best card in the history of American boxing. I would submit to you that people should go check out their listings on BoxRec and go take a look at some of the absolutely loaded shows that Don King put on in the 1990s. I can think of one in particular in Atlantic City that I was at that had 8 world championship fights. The whole card was 8 title fights, including, I think, at least two undisputed title fights. The undisputed welterweight title between Corey Spinks and Ricardo Mayorga, and the undisputed middleweight title between Bernard Hopkins and William Joppy. And there was a whole slew of other outstanding fights on that card. So again, it's not a knock on this show, but that's a little bit overzealous in your estimation of the show. Go take a look at Revenge the Rematches. Go take a look at some of the other Julio Cesar Chavez headline shows that Don King put on. This is a great card, but it's not at that level.
Wall Street Memes Casino
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.